welcome back to Worst Day, Best Day. I'm excited for my guest today. I was actually his clinical instructor in paramedic school, and I've run some hideous shit with this guy. And let me tell you about some driving skills. He actually worked on the shift before I worked, but my partner and him did time swaps fairly regular, and I did time swaps with his paramedic partner fairly regular. So I had the honor and privilege of riding with this guy on a fairly consistent basis, and it seemed like every time we got together, all hell broke loose. He can drive the shit out of an ambulance. When I would ride with him, I would tell my normal partner, man, check up under the hood and see if you can find whatever switch Fields is hitting, because he's hitting something that we ain't hitting because the truck's hitting another gear. Go ahead, Fields. Tell the people who you are and what you do.
I'm Brandon Fields, firefighter, paramedic, lieutenant here in Georgia. Right now, almost 17 years on the job.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
It's hard to believe we were two young kids just a couple of days ago.
Oh, no, man. I can't believe that I got 20 in. Give us some background. When did you know that you wanted to be a firefighter or a paramedic? You seem pretty eat up with it right when I met you.
Yeah. As a child, 3-4 years old, I remember telling my parents, hey, I want to be an EMT when I grow up. Fast forward a little bit, 2001, 2002, I was 15, 16 years old. Our shed on the farm burnt down. The local volunteer fire department came out, extinguished it, and I got talking to the fire chief and told him, hey, I'm interested. At the time, I was more interested in the medical side of it. And he said, hey, come on, we got emergency responder thing you can do, go out and assist EMS. And so I went the first Tuesday volunteer meeting after my 16th birthday, which would have been April of 2002. Signed up, went to my first couple house fires, and I was hooked.
So you were right after 9/11 too, kind of.
Yeah, our shed burnt right at 9/11.
You got some inspiration from that, I guess, like a bunch of us did.
Oh, yeah, and it's like I told them when I got going with it, I was like, I got to do more, and went to EMT school on my own. Right then, the EMT school, I actually got hired by Hall County, where we worked at.
And that's where I met you.
And that's where it all began, July of 2007.
Those were some good times, man. So tell us about growing up. Did you play sports? Any siblings? Anything like that?
Very interesting childhood.
Yeah.
Mom, forgive me if you ever watch this. Before I say anything, just know I love my mom to death. She's a very good person. I love her to death. She's very active in my life. So growing up, grew up in government housing. Poor as shit. Never dreamed I would make it to where I am today. For the first little bit of my life, I lived with Mom. She ended up getting a pretty bad drug habit. Ended up bouncing around between my mama and my aunt and uncle. Ended up with a sister when I was almost 12 years old, who I think the world of. She was my Christmas gift of 97, born December 25th. Not long after she was born, my sister's dad wasn't too good of a dude. He got her mom off on pretty bad stretch of stuff. He ended up getting killed in a car wreck. About that time when I moved in with my aunt and uncle full time, who ended up raising me, who are the sole reason where I am today. If it wouldn't have been for them, I would be out there at government housing, where Mom still lives. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but back in the 90s, it was just part of life. Grew up thinking I just had one sister, thinking that I thought I knew my dad, but I didn't know. In 2020, ended up doing the 23andMe thing. Found out my dad was another guy.
Oh, wow.
Only to find out he had passed away in 2006. Never got to meet him.
Oh.
Criminal history's 4 miles long. A lot of problems. But only to know that also I was around him a lot as a child.
And didn't even know he was your dad?
Yeah, I don't
That's
know that I
crazy,
ever had
man.
any actual face-to-face encounters with him. He was still here kind of local. Ended up finding out I had a brother over in Asheville, North Carolina. He's 4 years younger than I am. Super cool dude. Kind of curious because my oldest daughter's really tall, so I couldn't ever figure out where it came from. Well, meet my brother. He's like 6'4", 220, and I'm like, all right. And he goes, well, dude, Dad was a massive. And then, I get to asking, like, I got a friend that's retired LE here, I was asking him, I was like, hey, you know this name? He's like, yeah. He's like, we called him Big Arms. He was a badass motherfucker. I said, what do you mean? He's like, man, every time we dealt with him, he beat the fuck out of us. I was like, ah. So, and then, man, it was a month ago. I went out to eat, ran into some people and that lived down on the east end of the county here where everybody knew back in the 90s, like drug kingpin place.
Uh-huh.
I won't throw any
One
names
of the
out
places
there.
we now run calls to.
Yeah. Well, she was the wife of the kingpin of this place in the 90s. Also, the mother of a girl that I dated not long before my wife. You know, and I was like, hey, I said, you know this name? She's like, it's your dad, ain't it? And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I can see it. I was like, what the hell? But yeah, she actually told me a lot about my dad. And, you know, I respect my brother. He hadn't said a whole lot about him, but I don't know that he has a whole lot to say that's worth hearing. And I don't think he wants to paint a bad image. Brother's a good dude, man. We talk daily. Went and seen him a few times. He'd come hung out the house. And he's a mechanic, does paving on the side. He's a cool dude.
Wow.
My sister, she's married now and got some babies of her own.
See, that's why I love this dude. I thought I knew you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've worked together, slept right next to each other.
Oh.
Don't make that perverted. We were at the station.
I've seen you in your underwear.
Indeed, you have.
But then, you know, another twist and all this crap. Kind of knew, kind of didn't know over the years, but ended up finding out I had another child.
You did?
Yeah, I got a little boy.
You do?
Yes. He's 7 months older than my oldest daughter. I mean, you were there with me when Megan found out, you know, that she was pregnant.
Uh-huh.
So see her first, and I'm like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? My girlfriend's pregnant. That's the best thing that ever happened to me, man. She, you know, and I remember being there with you and Haley. It was good shit. But yeah.
That was back in our beginnings too.
Yeah, same times. That's what me and Haley were just talking about for this. I think yours was born December 20th, she said.
Uh-huh.
Mine was December 30th.
Yeah,
so,
I remember y'all were right there with us.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, he'll be 15 in May.
Wow, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah. He's get a little contact with him. Still ain't really got nothing ironed out with his mom yet. It's I mean, it's the biggest surprise to them as it was us. Both of us kind of knew, but didn't know. He got old enough wanting to know what was going on. So we haven't nailed down anything yet. I don't think it's going to be any like big to do thing. Just kind of seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that 23andMe, it can tell you a lot.
I'm staying away from that thing.
Yeah, stay away. I mean, even my mom found out that I'm really not even a Fields.
Really?
Yeah, evidently my mom got around back in the day. The closest family we got's in Yulee, Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm some shitbag from Florida.
You're a Florida man.
Yeah. Born and raised in the sticks, but I'm from Florida.
Wow.
Maybe it's why I love the beach.
Yeah, maybe so. That's crazy.
But yeah, interesting history, man. You know, for those that don't know me, you know, I was born with a lot of medical issues. Cardiac arrest 3 times a day I was born.
You did?
Yes.
See, I didn't know that even.
Born at Stevens County.
I've worked cardiac arrest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I know any medic that's listening in Georgia is going to know Angel 2 out of, I think Grady has it now.
Uh-huh.
It came up and got me from Stevens County, transported me to Choa. Had something called Vactral Association. In the day, it was called Vater syndrome. They didn't know what causes it, still don't know what causes it. And I have a very mild case, they say. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. But I ended up with scoliosis, spina bifida. My left arm, I got the limb ataxia, you know, my left arm smaller than my right arm. My thumb on my left hand's just floppy shit. I had tracheoesophageal fistula they had to fix.
And let me tell all the watchers and listeners too, none of this has slowed this man down whatsoever. He's literally, at the time when I worked with him, one of the best, if not the best EMT I had the privilege of working with.
I appreciate that. I try. I don't know that I'm the best. I try.
You did a hell of a job, dude. I always look forward
Hey,
to
and
working with you.
I throw props at, you know, them David Kanoonan. That guy, he inspired me. He was my FTO when I come on shift, you know. And I'll never forget, I had to ride an extra shift on FTO because I couldn't start IV because my hand. And 6 shifts in it, man. He's like, hey, man, look, you're good. You're a good dude. Your driving skills are fucking great. You drive like crazy. Your skills
You
are
get
really
us
good.
there quick.
Yeah. He's like, you're fireman, you're a good fireman. He's a good EMT. He's like, but your IV skills, they fucking suck. But you can't help it because your goddamn hands all fucked up. You know, at the time, brand new, I was like, fuck. But then I've known Dave for 20 years nearly. It's like, I was just him saying, hey, dude, keep fucking pushing.
Uh-huh.
And he told me, he's like, hey, you'll never have to worry about it. You're an EMT. You'll just fucking drive. Well, one night when I got out of paramedic school and Captain called me, he's like, hey, go fucking maneuver Med 4 around the city for the evening. I was like, hell yeah, I got to go over to Dave. Get down there. First thing that some bitch asked me, he's like, hey, do you ever forget to do fucking IVs since you're going to paramedic school? And I'm like, yeah. We're on a call. Guess what? I missed the fucking IV.
Of course, naturally.
I was like, man, I'm intimidated.
I'm sure he had a lot to say about that mess, too.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, people like him, I'll tell you a name that really inspired me, and that was Josh Marino.
Yeah.
You know Reno, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He caught two dudes talking shit about me in recruit school, made an example out of them. You know, and I knew then that I had somebody that believed in me. I couldn't quit. And if it wouldn't have been for that day, you know, I'd have never made it. One of them they both ended up fired from county. One's still in the service. I won't say where he works at now. Other one, he's probably somewhere being a shitbag, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy life growing up. Never dreamed I'd be here doing what I'm doing now. You know, I never dreamed I'd ever be a fireman or an EMT. Didn't figure I'd ever be a paramedic, you know, and then now I've promoted up and I'm getting to lead other folks and seeing where I'm at, and it's super thankful for
I'm
where
watching
I'm at.
you on the socials, man.
Yeah.
It's impressive, dude, what you're doing.
It's been a good career, man. I've had a good career. It's ups, downs. Got a good woman at home that supports me through all of it.
It is like it's hard. Like me leaving, ask Haley. When I left the fire service, it was the hardest thing I ever did. I cried like an infant.
I remember when you left. I mean, I was like, "The fuck, man, we're losing Sully."
Uh-huh. And then I left in like July of 2012, and come December of 2012, I was panicking because the year was about to turn, and I was worried about losing all my, you know, I just had got GSAR certified, all those crazy
old gay
classes.
stars.
I had everything known to man. And then I had my second daughter, and I don't know, I just had the intuition I was going to keep having girls. And I was right at the 10-year mark, and I thought, golly, man, I either got to shit or get off the pot here. Once I cross the 10-year mark, I'm kind of in it to win it, you know?
Yeah.
So Haley was on me. She wanted me at home more, and
been there.
so reluctantly I left. And like, honest moment here, for years I kind of held that against Haley. Like when we would argue, you know, that'd be like my kidney jab I'd throw out. You know what I mean?
Well, and you know, and I think anybody that, especially fire EMS related, listening to this, they can relate to that. I mean, if shit's bad at home, you still got the guys at the fire station.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing that hurt the worst about leaving. Of course, I miss an interior attack and flying out trauma victims from a bad car wreck, but it's the station life.
Oh, it's station life, man. Breaking bread together.
And if normal people were there, they would be like, "You miss this shit? All you do is you get fucked with endlessly." I did, and I was a huge target. You know? But
I was too, man.
But I showed up early every shift to get it. You know?
Yeah, bring it.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was a 7 my last 2 years down there, and holy shit, you know, it's like being at 7. There's a shitload of dudes there.
I wanted the big houses. Yeah. I wanted the headquarters stations because I liked having all those personalities.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you want to be at headquarters, you want to be around the boss. Nah, I want to be around all the dudes, man. Fuck you. I want to be there where you sink or swim.
Yeah, and also I found, like, I kind of approach any situation, like anytime I start something new, whether it was the fire department or going to the ER, I've got pretty good intuition and I'm observant. And I'm paying attention to who the top dog is, and I'm watching what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I found that most of those go-getters, they get pulled to the headquarters stations. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And to be around those people, it's only going to make you better. So that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah, and as a new dude, it's a privilege to be around those guys.
Yeah,
you know, especially when you get acceptance, you know, for what it's worth, the squad boys, when they took you in, you know, when you got acceptance from them fuckers.
Yeah, to me, if they wanted you at 7 or at 5, to me, that was a check off the box. You know what I mean? That was my goal. I wanted to be at one of those stations.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, 7 on our shift was great. Admin didn't think a lot of our battalion chiefs. They later got rid of him.
No.
I thought the world of him.
The same with
You
my
know,
battalion chief.
you know, Chief was badass. He made some mistakes on his day off, but
Mine too.
he had a fucking target on his back. So
But when it was time to clock in, man, they showed up for work.
he showed up for work, you know. And the thing I like, we'd be 20 foot over the bank on 129 cutting one out. You know, who's down there on the end of the damn spreaders? Chief.
Uh-huh.
That motherfucker down there telling people what to do.
Yeah.
But the ones up there in the road wanting to run command, like, nah, he's no good.
Yeah.
Nah, he's no good.
He's old school.
He is. He's leading his people.
Yeah, man.
You know, he didn't care.
Yeah. I like it. I wonder if there's still people like that there. I guess it's the Marinos, and everybody's all promoted up now, man.
yeah,
it blows my mind to hear who's battalion chiefs and captains and lieutenants and
Yeah.
stuff.
So, you know, Mark Knapp passed away.
Uh-huh.
I went over to the funeral home. Me and Brandon Whitney's my captain.
Uh-huh.
And he and I rode over to the funeral home. And, man, just seeing all them old guys, Silky's dumbass and Tony Allen, all them boys. Tony, hell, we can't even call him fat ass no more. He looks like he's on crack. But, you know, getting to see all those guys again, man, it just like, I don't know, it was overwhelming. Because those guys were there when I cut my teeth, you know. They seen me, they knew me. And just, to some people, them guys may not be nobody. But to me, those guys mean the world to me.
Yeah.
You know, even late in my career, well, I say late, but toward the end of my career, you know, I get moved out to 7 and, you know, Funk, Andrew, all those guys out there, they just took care of me. You know, they were good people. That was a very hard decision to leave them.
Yeah. It's I don't know, or like the civilian folks, like I said earlier, they might come in if they were a fly on the wall and be like, what in the hell is your attraction to this?
Yeah.
And I can't really describe it anything other than the cheesy thing everybody goes to, the brotherhood part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the things, man. You're meant for it. You're cut out for the job, or you're not.
Yeah. And part of being cut out for it's being able to take all the blows that come your way with people fucking with you. You know?
That's the problem with the job today is they're hiring every swinging dick that applies. They come in, they ain't cut out for the job. And you try to make it like it was what me and you were used to. The next thing you know, my ass is in the office.
Yeah.
Why'd you say this? Well, fuck, y'all hear what they should have shit told me when I was in fucking their part of the damn world.
Getting duct taped to a chair.
Yeah.
In underwear and pushed out next to the side of 129, you know.
You ain't lived until you've been in a bunker and fight at 7 when there's 12 or 13 men in there in their underwear, throwing pillows, throwing whatever the hell they can find.
Rigging up the beds to explode when somebody laid in it. We used to do that all the time.
I doubt Silky will ever see this, but I remember one night we put some ice in the drop ceiling above his bed and let it shit drip down on him. It was pretty hilarious.
We did similar things with IV bags, run it up and put it where they're laying on the bag, so they're applying pressure to it and just put it on a slow drip.
Catch you an old bag of D5 that's expired, stick it down through the ceiling tile, wake up, think they nutted in their pants.
Exactly. So you've been at this for a while. Talk a little bit about like what the schooling and stuff was like.
Schooling. So, like I said, I started out on my own. I went through EMT school on my own. Young, dumb, really didn't know what I wanted to do. Failed the test right toward the end. Whole class that I was in applied for Hawk, you know. Little boy, I get hired. Go back through EMT school. Granted, had I not went through the EMT school I did before, 9 months, I don't think I could have did it in the 16 weeks that I did it in recruit school.
Yeah.
That was challenging. But I learned a lot again. It was, you know, and then the fire school. I had a little bit of fire training from volunteer kind of stuff before, but the intensity of the training and just the knowledge base that was passed along to me through the training center there at Hall County, I learned a lot more. You know, 32 weeks of hell. Just so happened we were class 32. It was pretty badass, you know, and I made 32 brothers in that class that I talked to daily. Rest his soul, Stringer, man, he was in there. Sean Stringer, he passed away in COVID.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was 32 dudes, man. We walked across that stage and just, they're brothers for life. But then a bit that big bullet, you know, that paramedic school shit that some say is cool, some say is stupid. Year of prerequisites for it. Don't tell Sam Stone, but my wife did most of those online classes. Because I didn't graduate high school. I quit my senior year.
I didn't know that even.
I dropped 2 double birds on the principal the last day before Christmas break of my senior year. I was like, nah, y'all can have this bullshit. I'm going to be a farmer. So Anyway, go off paramedic school, man. Like I said, I'm kind of a hands-on guy. Growing up, I didn't dig into that earlier. My aunt and uncle, I grew up on a farm, vegetable farm. So I learned, manual labor and shit like that. And so going to paramedic school is a big challenge for me. People that are learning to do dopamine drips and shit, I'm over there teaching myself simple division,
Yeah.
But 18 months of paramedic school, I had Sam Stone and Bridget Rigby there. So that was like two hard-ass motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
You either shit or got off the pot. I can't remember the exact number we started with.
And if you go through that program and you leave with a patch on your arm, you deserved it.
That's fucking Harvard of paramedic
They
school.
don't give those things out to just anybody there, at least back then anyway.
I still got my Lanier Tech little diploma thing because I'm like, you know what? Fuck that National Registry certificate. That fucking Lanier Tech, man, I made it through Stoneology.
Yep. I say the same thing. I got mine framed. It's right next to my bachelor's degree, and it means just as much, if not more, to me.
Yeah, I mean, it 18 months of hell, man, it's so hard. I remember my wife's grandmother passed away in the middle of it. I had to be down in Gwinnett County the next day for a clinical. Well, her grandmother lived down south, Georgia, hour south of Macon in Cordell. And so I called Sam. I was like, hey, I ain't going to make it to my clinical tomorrow. My wife's grandmother passed away. We got to go down there. Time I was working full-time 48s going to paramedic school. He's like, well, that's fine. When you get back, schedule it plus one more. You don't miss clinical. I'm like, you hard-ass motherfucker.
Yep.
I was like, really, dude? Hall County's let me off bereavement pay. Ravens let me off. Yada. He's like, give a shit. You're going to do 2 clinicals and make this bullshit up. And I'm like,
he holds the line.
Oh, yeah. So my ass went to the funeral, got all that shit done. Guess what? I did 2 more clinicals.
To make it up, you got to do a 2 for 1 if you miss one.
Yeah, and it was like a week before we graduated. I was like, you know what? We're in the home stretch, baby. And now, Sam called me in the office, lit into my ass. You're not doing this and you're not doing that. And he's like, you're not going to graduate. And I'm like, okay. He's like, what do you mean, okay? I'm like, I'm getting paid from both counties to be here. I don't come on my day off unless I absolutely have to. Whatever. I've learned to be a better EMT.
Yeah.
That lit his ass up. But it worked out, man. Because of who they are, I don't ride the truck a whole lot no more. I'm mainly on the engine. But when I still ride the truck, I don't have to be that cat sitting around reading protocols and stuff all the time because of what they instilled in me. It made me... I don't like to say I'm not a very knowledgeable paramedic. I'm just a street medic. I know how to use my hands, talk to people, get them to the hospital.
And that's half the battle.
It is, man. You make a friend with these people. They don't give a shit if you're saving their life or not.
And if you know how to ask what, they'll tell you what's wrong with them, and they won't even know it.
Yeah, shout out to our first dude, the lower alto. We call it the LA baby. It's Appalachian Americans, and one of my EMTs is always like, man, you know how to talk to these people. I'm like, fuck yeah, you get on their level, man.
I am one of these people.
I was raised like these motherfuckers. The only difference in them and me is I don't do meth.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, school's tough.
But looking back at it, man, like this is something that I preach a lot about. What the fire service, especially rookie school in particular, did for me. It makes you realize that you can do an ass load more than you think you can. And like that's what rookie school is all about. They take you to the point where you think you can't take no more. Then they take you way past that to show you that you can do it.
The point of no return.
Look, man, I'm pulling a camper with a damn ambulance. And it really goes back to shit like that.
Yeah,
you can do
when
it.
you text me and told me this shit, I was like, that's fucking badass. I'm not telling my wife that because she always bitches at me about getting nervous behind my truck with a camper.
Look, dude, before today, I've never pulled a camper before.
Hey,
with a normal truck, let alone
for those that can't see, the son bitch is in the side. It's a level.
It's here.
He even left enough room for me to park.
I tried. That was on my checklist.
Don't tell the whoever the state that manages I didn't register to park. Sorry about your $5.
Yeah, it's secret safe. We'll consider it first responder discount.
That's right. But yeah, man, recruit school that made me who I am. That fields that a lot of people talk about, the no quit. That's credited to some folks that run me through recruit school.
Yeah, same here, man.
Teddy Gerard. No, and Josh Marino, man, those guys they showed up and showed up. You're out there doing push-ups. It's August, 100 degrees on that concrete pad. Marino's out there in a damn hoodie, and you're like, all right, if he can do it, I can do it. You remember them days?
Yeah, man. I'm the same exact way. Like, they know how to get it out of you. What I didn't know at the time was that I was going to use that knowledge that I can do more than I'm capable of outside of the fire service.
Yeah.
But it trickles out into all your life. Like, I never thought I could raise 4 kids. They're out there running around, you know.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I really am. I mean, my 2 that live at home, it's holy shit.
Right.
There's days I just want to like run away.
Now I got 4 in a camper. We're in our 3rd year of living in a camper. It's crazy, but I got to thank rookie school for it.
Oh, those days of loading in the maze, and you're like, you know what? Fuck this. I'll just go get me another job. Get the fuck up. Let's go. Hey, it's there, man. And that's what I try to pass on to these new guys. But some of them are pussies.
The right people know how to get it out of you.
They
I
do.
had Rod and Todd for mine. So Rod was like the militaristic, you know,
Yeah.
check off all the boxes kind of thing. And Todd evened it out.
Yeah.
You know, he's mild, meek, soft-spoken.
You know, you remember Greg Martin? He was our fire instructor in recruit school. So you know how that went. We had Captain Heflin, who's walking around opening a spit bottle with his thumb and his finger spitting in it, waiting to say the word drill at any second. Then we got Greg over there. Fellas, we probably need to go do a few push-ups, get Cap Heflin off my ass. But that great mix, man, it showed you of, hey, Greg came off of Med 1 off shift. That gave you a dose of, hey, here's those guys that are already on shift. They're good people. These training guys, they're probably good people. They're assholes right now.
When you first start, you look at those guys like they're like office folks.
Yeah.
But when you get in it, you realize they ain't always been office folks. They was doing the real shit, you know.
You know, I remember Captain Heflin. He was like, I guess maybe our first Friday recruit school started that Monday. He come in there and he told us a story about a fire he had at ST&T Mobile Home Park there, killed some kids. He's like, you motherfuckers going to do some soul searching. There's a couple kids didn't come back. And I was like, fuck yeah, give it to me. People die every day.
Yep.
It is what it is.
So how long you got in it now? How long you been doing this?
So I started volunteering in 2002. So coming up on 22 years, I guess, with that.
Dang, that's crazy, man.
Went career in 07. Like I said, will it be 17 next year? This July.
Where'd the time go, right?
I'm getting old. My hair's turning gray.
Me too, man.
Hurts like hell. I got to get up and piss 3 times a night.
Yep, you got daughters like me, so the gray's going to come quicker.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I developed a gray patch right here in my head. Recruit school's like a little gray circle. I don't fuck it. It just never went away.
That's your stress patch.
Yeah. Sam's button to push pissed me off.
Yeah, that's right. So out of all that time, what do you... I know you're like me and everybody else that does this job, and unfortunately, you probably got a Rolodex to pick through. What do you think one of your worst days are?
Oh fuck, man. I got a lot of. I got 3 that stand out. 3 big ones. Just kind of. How about I brief you on the 3 and you tell me which one you want to hear about? Well, nah, because I can't really go into detail about one of them. It's been so long ago. But just kind of in brief, when it was our senior year of high school, 18, I was doing the volunteer thing.
So this was early in your days.
In my career, early, still volunteer days, wasn't EMT yet. Cold, rainy, sleety night here in the mountains.
There you go. Give us the foreplay. That's what I like. Paint the picture for the people.
So I'm gonna give a shout out my homeboy Spencer. He ended up doing a few years GSP, got out.
Oh, I know. I remember
Spencer Munger.
Yes,
Yeah, Munger.
I remember him. Good dude.
Dude, he's been through a fucking shitload. But anyway, me and Munger hanging out. He couldn't drive yet. He's a couple years younger than me. He's been my homie since damn early in the day. We're doing like 2 punk ass kids do. We're dragging town here in Clayton. Had to run to Walmart to get some stuff for my folks before I went home. And we went into Walmart, and our girlfriend at the time, we'd been broke up, fighting. I don't remember. It was back in the day before text and all that bullshit, man. I mean, so it was like, hey, I'll call you off my room phone when I get home. You know?
Yeah, from the landline.
Yeah.
Rotary dial.
So we hadn't talked, and maybe it was right at Christmas break. December the, don't call me 11th or 12th, somewhere right in there. Christmas coming up. We're we're walking into Walmart. She's walking out. I hadn't talked to her in a couple of days. Kind of at each other. I'm pretty sure we're still dating. Maybe not. But we were still talking, whatever. And I seen her. I said, hey. She said, hey. I said, what's up? She said, I'm heading home. I said, me too. I said, give me a few minutes. Get home, call my landline in my room. You know, we'll do like we do. We'll fall asleep on the phone, or the cordless phone will die. You know, one day. She's like, okay. I said, we'll work this shit out. So we go get her. We got to get. We come out of Walmart, and we stop by the fire station, get her shit. We've been out there hanging out all night, waiting on a call. You know, to save somebody, pick Granny up out of the forest, some bullshit. Well, as we get to the station, the wreck comes out, mile from her house. Bad wreck. We get there.
Girls, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and that bring up my next topic I've thought about while we're sitting here. Tell you about what it's like touching them girls after a bad day. But anyway, I stayed at work. Chris wanted out of the truck with me. He wants to know what I'm made of. You know, these guys are looking at me. Not that I want to be a superhero to them. I just want to show them what I expect. You know, and lo and behold, if they're feeling bad, absolutely I want them to go home. But I want them to show them, hey, you can be tough. Well, midnight that night, we get a call, 51-year-old unconscious in the bathroom. Son's there, his wife's there. Dude stroking the hell out. I never followed up. I'm pretty sure he probably died. You know, it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I get all my shit done. I get back to bed. Daylight, we get up for another unconscious call. I'm like, man, my fucking ass should have went home. Next day, I go do my normal shift on Engine 12. We're doing 5 or 6 calls. I'm a fucking zombie. I don't even remember the shift. I was zombied the fuck out. We get off that Tuesday morning. Guess who don't get to go home? Yours truly. We got one of those fucking famous admin meetings that you get when you get the bugles on your collars. So we go to it, and I'm in no shape to be there, man. I'm fucking just
mentally spent, physically
fucking
spent.
drained. Or as I get to that meeting, they're like, hey, we got the debriefing tonight. I live 45 fucking minutes from work. I get that meeting at 1 o'clock. I haul ass home, get that fucking uniform off, man. I was itching. I wanted it off. I didn't want no part of it. I wanted a damn t-shirt, pair of jeans.
Yep.
As you see, that's me every day, man. Well, my oldest was gone with friends, and my youngest was my aunt and uncle's house. I boogie-assed their house, 10 miles from mine, lay some hands on that little girl, and go back to my debriefing. And for those of you that think debriefing's bullshit, I'm here to tell you that shit helped me that night. But
you know, back in my day, I ran hideous shit too, man, and I never really remember any like official debriefing. Is more back then. It was more like, "Hey, you good?"
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That was your
and
debriefing.
Don't dare say you're not good because you're gonna call you a pussy.
That was your bat chief just saying, "Hey, you good, man? You all right?"
Yeah, that was probably but that, I guess, I hate to say it, that was probably the worst call I ever ran. You know, I've got shitloads of pediatrics. Anybody knows me, man, I've worked a lot of fucking kids. Seen a couple die on me. You know, that decompensating baby they always talk about. Had a couple of those, man. You're like, holy shit.
I was cursed with kids too.
You know, I even 2 miles up the road, or 3 miles, back up to the high school, me and my wife going to eat lunch one day. Get a call for an unconscious call on my phone. I get all the calls here texting me. Lo and behold, a fucking 7-week-old in the goddamn car not breathing. Yours truly here did mouth-to-mouth and CPR to the fucking ambulance got there. On my day off. Then, you remember Gregoire? I rode in on the ambulance with him back up to the damn hospital here. Trying to go eat lunch with my wife on my day off, you know. I was like, well, I was going to have a beer, but now I think I'll have 2 whiskey sours. I ended up getting fucking COVID after that. I called Chad. It was right when COVID started. And I was like, hey, what's the policy on COVID doing mouth-to-mouth? He's like, who the fuck done mouth-to-mouth? I was like, well, me. He's like, why? So I come up on a 7-week-old not breathing on my day off. And he's like, only you, motherfucker, only you. But if we got time, I can tell you about a worse day. Wasn't necessarily a call.
Yeah, man. Run it.
So, at the station, I'm on the engine. Time's pressed. Got to get that shit clean because we got a PR event. October the 28th, 2021. Pretty fall day, a little cool. Drivers, me and him, who's now become one of my good friends, he no longer works with us. Super cool guy. Anyway, we're like, hey man, let's bust up here, do this PR event. And wants going with us. We got one of those, for those of y'all at the EMS world, a new Fraser ambulance. top of the line in my opinion. I'm sure there's better out there, and I know there's worse. I've worked in them.
Ditto.
Some of them trucks haul cans, they're a little questionable at times, right?
I'm sitting in one now.
Yeah. But anyway, we go up, we do this PR event, go in talking to the kids, and of course, I want to go see the fire truck and the ambulance. With those that haven't never been in a Fraser truck, they pretty much come standard with those harnesses now. Who the fuck wears seatbelts and back of helmets? I mean, really?
Yeah.
This little fella gets up and back.
Can't do much work strapped in.
No, and if you're anything like me, most of them's code 3 in and fucking pumping
I've
off the
had
chest.
drivers, though, where I got my work done quick so I could strap in.
Oh, yeah. So this little kid gets in the back, and these things still got like the zip ties and shit on them from the factory. They ain't never been used. Hoping I don't get anybody in trouble. But he's like, what are these? I'm like, oh, they're our seatbelt. You know, we wear them when we're back here in case we ever get in a wreck. Well, we don't get hurt. He's like, cool. We get done this PR event. We heading back. We stop by the Dollar General because I'm a tight ass. Give me a Hot Pocket for lunch.
There you go, man.
And we pulling out of the Dollar General.
Pepperoni or ham and cheese? What'd you roll with?
I like that 4-cheese pizza.
Oh, that's not
with a
bad.
garlic buttery crust. Oh, yeah.
Paid extra.
Hell yeah. Then you sprinkle some garlic salt on it when it comes out. It's even better. But anyway, it's either that or ramen. We're pulling out of the Dollar General. We get banged out to a known address. Kid, he's got diabetes insipidus, so his sodium controls his sugar. Well, long time dealing with this child. He's arrested a few times. Sick.
So you're familiar with him.
Familiar with him. Well, his endocrinologist is in Emory, so we already know we're going to Atlanta. Well, his mom and Chief Black at the time were damn good friends. She had made friends with him, not for any other purpose than just having the connections. So we roll up, and it's one of those calls where mama knows what's best for her baby. He's been sick his whole life. I don't give a damn what Sam Stone taught you. He didn't teach you more than that mama's learned down there at Choa.
Yeah.
So she kind of tells us what's going on. She's like, he ain't right. Something ain't right. My baby's got to go. So we get him back in the truck, and blood pressure's in the fucking toilet. Heart rate's out of control. Essentially non-coherent, and he usually can communicate with us to an extent. And as bad as he hated to ask me, the medic's like, hey, man. I was like, you got it, homie. I'll go with you. I said,
and you're thinking, damn, that went my easy day on the
engine.
engine.
My motherfucking Hot Pocket. So much be hot. So I was like, before we check out, I was like, I'm getting the Lucas off the engine. We carried Lucas on the engines down there. And I was like, man, there's something about it. I'm getting that fucking Lucas. He said, yeah. So I bail out and open the door on the engine, tell my driver, hey, bro, throw my Hot Pocket in the freezer. I got to go to Emory, and I'm taking your Lucas. So your ass can be sweating. You're on cardiac arrest.
I'll trade you a Hot Pocket for your Lucas.
Yeah. He's like, damn. I was like, yeah, have fun watching football, whatever the hell you're going to do when you get back to the station.
Stay away from my Hot Pocket.
Yeah, don't eat my fucking Hot Pocket. I'll kill you. So jump in the truck. It's raining. Cool fall day. We bust out, and my driver, EMT, never had any infractions ever before. Good person. We're busting down 985, getting right there about the 85 merge. And I'm like, got a thing about a little boy up there, the PR thing, touching that seatbelt, that harness. And I'm on the bench seat, you know, I'm a bit past where you're at. It's got 2 harnesses right there at it. I think that truck may have 3 down the wall. And I got to the one right here where the damn sharps box and all that shit. I was like, oh. Click, click. I put that motherfucker on. Medic's like, what the fuck you doing? I was like, hey, I thought little boy would wear these things, man.
Might as well wear them.
Fucking try it out. And truth be known, that morning I also had woke up, you know, as an officer, you know, you have these thoughts every day how to be better. Well, that day I woke up and I was like, I got to start setting a better example. Not that I felt that I was doing bad, but I wanted to be better.
I get that.
You know, so I was like, I got to start. I want these guys really wearing these belts if they can. Because God forbid, I don't have to go tell their family, hey, they got killed.
And it happens.
It does. So he puts a seatbelt on. He's a capture. He's over typing away. We're boogieing down the road. We get on 85. And never forget this. His blood pressure was 70/30, just had cycled. A little bit of respiratory compromise, wheezing. So I unbuckled, get up. Right before I unbuckled, me being the rebel ass that I am, get on the old Snapchat, take a selfie with it on, send it to my wife and several other EMS related folks that are about ready for the Daytona 500. I've got my harness on. Set my phone down, unbuckle, get up, ALS cabinet, get a do and about, and start breathing treatment on him while Keith's over doing his paperwork. Dude, I sat back down on the bench seat. We're 85 South, Gwinnett County, right there around Indian Trail. And hope I never go through that again.
Damn.
But, it's like everybody says, who the fuck else could it have happened to but you, the fucking shit magnet?
And see, one of the reasons that I'm doing this whole thing, and the listeners will probably get tired of hearing me say it, but to me, you can't say it enough. Our numbers seem to be dwindling. You know what I mean? There's not kids coming out of the womb right now that are dying to run into burning buildings, chase bad guys, or serve in the military. So I don't know. I think it's, just the state of things, defunding the police, and, we look like police in our uniform. So you kind of get lumped in all with that, and you're a public servant. And I don't know, the whole opinion of first responder seems to be going down. So one thing that always, like after you had a shift like you're describing, when we clock out, quote, clock out, but we got to do normal shit. Like
I walked in the door to my family.
On your way home, like I remember this, like I would stop at Kroger or Publix or whatever in the hell to get whatever groceries we needed at the house. And I remember I'd be standing there like in the produce section, filling of a damn tomato or whatever Haley needed for the day. And I'd just look around and think, and I'd be like, these people have no fucking clue what this hand was doing. Dude, 2 hours ago.
Holy
shit, know what I mean?
It's crazy you say that during the whole COVID bullshit. But
I hope this gives them an idea. I hope like normal civilians listen to this show, not just, police, fire, EMS, and military and nurses and stuff. I hope normal civilians listen to it because they got no idea. They ain't got a clue. No idea.
I said something pretty similar to my wife. About the time that the pandemic was dwindling down and he was allowed to be normal again, little flea market 10 miles up there, they have a little Sunday buffet. I had to get off work that morning. I'd worked a code right before I got off. 30-year-old female. Fucking drug her out of the bed beside her fucking 8-month-old little baby and her 6-year-old watching me working and her husband fucked up morning. But I'm standing waiting to make my fucking plate. And the same thing you said, I looked at my goddamn hands and I'm like, ain't a motherfucking person in this room got a clue
what these two hands
know that I
doing.
did CPR on a 30-year-old woman that had fucking COVID that went into heart failure and died because I said if they knew, they'd scatter the fuck out of here. Oh, God, you've been around somebody with COVID and you've touched a dead body? Like, that's the easy part of it. Dragging her fucking kids and shit off over the hard part you don't want to hear about.
And the last guest that I interviewed, he led me into this, like he had some bad calls. And he talked about how he had a bad kid call. And he talked about how, now this guy was a fucking Marine Corps pilot, fighter pilot. And his worst days had nothing to do with serving in Afghanistan.
That's what a lot of them say.
He served for 11 years. He's still in the reserves. But his worst days didn't come until he left active duty, went into the reserves, and started working full-time as a fireman.
That's what when you're talking about before we started this, that Travis Howes guy from Charleston 9, he was a Marine. He was a police officer and a fireman. He said, when you're over there in the sandbox, somebody fucks up your buddy, you go fuck them up. You get revenge. He's like, when you're on that ambulance for that fire truck and you run, it's Christmas Eve, you go to that house fire, they lose everything they got. You're like, all right, pack your shit up, go back to the station. You go to the station and you get that call. Car 8 kids ejected, they're fucking dead. Then you go back, you get on that engine, and you may run a damn 80-year-old cardiac arrest, been married 50 years. And
you can't be like, no, I ain't gonna run that one, man.
Yeah, it keeps.
That last call I ran was too rough. I can't. I'm gonna sit this one out.
Yeah, and that's where you meet a lot of those guys like that. And I got a guy that drives me on the engine now that's in the military. A lot of them tell you there's nothing relatable over there to what you go through here. And I mean, I'm not trying to discredit what those dudes do. I couldn't do that. I would have liked to have thought if I didn't have any health issues, I could have been in the military of some kind, but probably not. Because my heart goes out to those kind of people.
Yeah, man.
But to hear them come back from over there and do what we do and say our shit's pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit. It's a lot, man. And I'm very thankful that they're starting to recognize a lot of it. You know,
hopefully this gets some legs and helps, you know. But the thing that he got, when he would run bad calls, he was like, it can't not affect even your own kids,
yeah,
because you do this stuff and it's going to affect how you act around them, how you raise them.
oh yeah,
And again, they'll get tired of hearing me say it, but I tell my kids they got the misfortune of being born to a paramedic. I can't help but to walk into a room and see the potential final destination scene that could unfold.
oh yeah. You
You
know,
know,
they're starting to develop like all this hypervigilance stuff. You know, I was watching a guy the other day. He's like, "How many of you in public safety will not turn your back to the door when you go into a restaurant?" And I'm like, "Hell no." You know, it's always expect a way out. You know, and it's
that's so crazy you say that. My kids think I'm nuts. When I go into a place, I point out where the exits are. If we're going to a festival or something like fall, there's all kind of festivals.
yeah,
On our way walking in, I tell my kids if something happens and something pops off, that's where we meet if we get separated, you
oh
know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's, I don't know.
Before
I
I came
sound like
here,
an idiot when I'm saying it, but if something were to pop off, they're going to see the genius that I am. You
oh
know
yeah,
what I
you
mean?
know, I stopped by my wife's work on there and dropped off my 7-year-old, and she had her iPad. You know, they all gotta have that bullshit
Uh
now.
huh.
Well, it was on 4%. She's like, "Daddy, I need my charger." Well, the wife works outside the house. I've been up my uncle's shop working on 400 I got all morning trying to get the motor put back in it, and uh, told her, "Hey, I'm gonna run home, clean up real quick, and get changed, go do this." And I said, "I'll bring your charger back. Where's it at?" She's like, "Well, it's plugged into that thing beside the bed. It ain't this charger, it ain't that charger, but it's." I said, "Oh, that cluster of shit waiting to burn the house down." Of course, everybody in the office is like, "What the hell's wrong with her husband?" You know, and it's like, "Sorry, didn't mean for that shit to come out.
Uh-huh.
I'll figure it out."
Yeah.
But you know, you're trained to think that way. You know, and I don't know how much you've dealt with any kind of dreams from work, nightmares, whatever you want to call them. But like, I've had some instances where I've had dreams of my children getting hurt or dying.
Yeah.
Ways I've seen kids get killed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so it's hard for my wife to understand a lot of times. Hey, don't let the fucking kids do that. Wow, well, I've dreamed of them dying that way. Don't fucking let them do that shit. You know.
See, and normal people, civilian folks, they have no idea. And like, even like the officer that lost his whole family, like, I think about it, and I guess it's naive to me to think that he would ever think of the people that ran that call. Him being a policeman himself, he probably thinks along those lines. But I wonder if they know that years from now you're going to think about his children, and it's going to affect how you buckle your kids in, and how you drive, and how you look at intersections before you pull off from a red light. Like, I don't know, it affects
us.
the medics.
You know, and I'm always stuck in a rock and a hard place on that, because it's like, I try to tell my crew, hey, don't show any emotion in front of the families. It's their time to grieve. But at the same time, I know my dudes are hurting. I'm hurting. You know, and I don't want them to bottle up their shit and deal with trouble.
And it's wild, man. While, at least for me, while I'm doing CPR on a 4-month-old, or pulling a 2-year-old out of a mangled mess of a car, I don't even think about it. Like, while I'm doing it, I don't think about age. I don't think about size. I'm just doing what you have to an extent for drug dosages and equipment and stuff like that. But when it jacks me up is when I sit down to do the PCR, and I get their face sheet and see their social security number and their birth date, and
you start wondering about who they were and what was going on.
They had a little spot on the earth, and it's over already.
It's gone, you know. And then you walk through the door and you see them kids, and it's like, couldn't imagine what those folks are going through. This fucking hurts me to no end.
I can't imagine walking through that door and not seeing the people that I see right now. And you know, some man is doing that very thing.
Oh yeah, you know, and you feel the hurt that we see on our end, and to me that hurts about as bad a hurt as you can find.
Yeah.
But then you're like, fuck, they got it worse than I do. That was their kid.
But most people would, like civilian folks, would crumple. You know what I mean?
I got a couple that we camp with a lot, have become very good friends with Megan and I. We rode up Cherokee this past weekend and seen them and hung out. They lost a son that's the same age as my youngest almost 2 years ago. And they got a little girl now that's pushing 2. But to see them, and, you know, his wife posts stuff on her Facebook occasionally about their little boy, and never got to meet him. But to hear him, you know, and I help him do some grading work time to time on my days off, and every now and then I get talking about his little boy, and I sat there and think, you know, he respects what we do and says he couldn't do it, but I'm sitting there thinking, you a tough motherfucker. If I'd lost,
just to get up out of bed every morning.
yeah, you know, and it just the ability to be able to be around my child that's the same age, all that just amazes me. But yeah, it's a I don't know, man.
And still every third day you go back.
You go back wanting more.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want anybody to die or anybody's shit to burn down, but it's going to happen. It might as well happen on my shift.
That's how I was, man. I didn't want bad to happen to nobody, but if it was going to happen, I wanted to be the one to take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't promise you I'm going to do the best job. I'm going to do the best I can. And I can handle it. I'll do it till I can't, and I'll walk the fuck away and leave it to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, damn, my scoliosis is giving me problems. I'm going to sit on my couch and maybe buy me some fucking fudge rounds or something.
Yeah, man. Dang.
Yeah, that's kind of just like a dip into my career. Some of the worst days. I've had a lot of bad ones.
Yeah.
We all have.
Yeah, that's what I said when I told Haley. I was like, man, everybody I'll talk to will have a Rolodex. They'll have their pick of a worst day.
I mean,
I'll be able to get them again when we come back through Georgia.
I mean, my shit day started my first day. I'll never forget. Me and Canuna, Med Forward. First call's a cardiac arrest. Second call's an AK-47 to the chest. You know, it was 6 shifts with FTO, just shit. And I was like, oh, fuck. You know, and he's like, fella, I don't know where the fuck you came from, but holy shit.
You need to go back there.
Yeah. And it's been that way my whole career. You know, last couple shifts have been pretty easy, so I'm dreading tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, it's I'm actually riding up tomorrow on the captain's car, so I'm sure I got the whole county. We'll see what the fuck we can make out of it.
Bound to run into something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, those are definitely some worst days. What about some best days, some happy times? What's one of your best days that you've had?
You know, of course, my first best day had been, you know, my career day. I got hired to go in, you know, good days through recruit school. One of my standout days, and I know you may or may not remember this day, you were living your best life, I think. Maybe in between your ex-wife and Haley. I was in recruit school and EMT school. And my first ever EMT clinical was with Will Harrison there in Sunshine. That was when I was in EMT school on my own. So my first EMT clinical in recruit school was with you and old Chris Waller on Med 22.
Oh God!
It was right when the Double Deuce went in service.
Oh man, that was like right after my world I thought ended due to a divorce, and I was on another level.
Oh son, that day we were busy. It was all over the city in that old ass piece of shit truck they put Med 22 in when it first opened. You know, you had to hold your left foot up there, I think. Turn the key, stick your tongue out, turn the high idle on, and maybe fart to get it to crank. And then it took from the station till halfway down Green Street.
We didn't even have a first due or nothing. They were like, if you think you can beat them to it, just pick it up.
Fuck it, we'll take it.
So we picked everything up.
Yeah. And I actually caught the end of that era, even going on through recruit school when I got sent to the Double Deuce. It was still, hey, nighttime you slept because they fucking forgot about you. But daytime you would run your ass off.
All the cool shit too.
But yeah, come for a clinical, you and Waller, I'm nervous. Never been, you know what I mean? This thing like the volunteer life area, I seen the fire department, but I'd never seen it at a scale that big. You know, and I never forget, we rode around the city all day, the fucking Fed queue wide open, pinned, the fucking electric siren on high-low, like the British police, just
Yeah, that's what we did, man.
And you motherfuckers both wearing Timberlakes. You remember that shit, them fucking Timberlake glasses?
White ones.
Yeah. And I don't know how many times we went to J&J that day to get y'all fucking energy
drinks.
That's right before you went into fucking Rhabdo.
Yeah.
But do you remember the call we went, you may or may not, we went to Guilford that day and picked up a patient, the great old 1240 Jesse Jewell. And wasn't nothing done wrong, but it was rebellious as fuck. And y'all said, remember that fucking stupid paper? This is when we were on that old ass that system we used on the laptops. The first we had to plug in and upload it every morning. And we had to get
EMS solutions.
So yes. So y'all sent me back into that stupid fucking paper. Nobody ever got signed to get it signed. And the husband of that wife's like, "Do you know who she is?" I'm like, "No." Her son's James Free. I'm like, instructor free? He helped out some in the damn training division.
Uh-huh.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, is there something wrong? He's like, we are pretty wild. I'm like, sir, I'm just a recruit. Can you please sign this? I gotta go. But you know, I seen a whole different side of the fire service, and I was like, you know, recruit school sucks. I'm getting my ass pounded 150 push-ups a day, screaming, yelling. I'm a fucking nobody. Then I come out there with y'all, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I just got to get through this bullshit part of it.
And you can have fun.
Yeah.
You can do work and have fun.
Hell yeah, just damn good times, you know. And that's like one of the most memorable days of my career. You know, talking about times with me and you. You remember the girl we picked up at Station 3 one night? Complaining of lower abdominal pain, little hot chick.
Vaguely.
I'll never forget it. It's like, she's like 20, 21, lower abdominal pain. Had on like little crop tops and ratty ass looking jeans. We're like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. We'll run her down to Gainesville. We can come down Thompson Bridge. You lean in the cubby hole. You're like, hey. I'm like, yo. You're like, you're going to have to go the fuck on. She's got her goddamn hand run down her pants. She's back here just, fucking moaning. Like, I can't fucking take this shit. So you're like, man, this is some fucked up shit. I'll never forget that shit. I'm like, damn, Sally back there suffering. Haley, this was before you.
Long before you, baby.
But yeah, I mean, the day we run Med 8 wrecked, we were on the truck together that day. That was a big.
And that was
day.
after I had worked with you several times. So, like, I know coming in that day is going to be a fucked up day, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nuts. For people that don't know, we had to run a call on an ambulance, one of our ambulances that wrecked. And it was like on the far south end of the county, and we're like in the central part of the county. And I think we beat the second due med unit to that call.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking, what, 15 miles probably. 15, 20 miles.
At least. We had her skimp back.
Had that old piece of shit rolling. You know, then we finally got that new ambulance, and it wasn't worth a fuck either. It would barely go. Oh, it was, man, the double deuce, man. Them were the days.
It was.
Them were my best days, man.
In the early days, man, of the double deuce. They didn't know what to do with us.
Yeah, our station was built in like 1802.
Yeah.
Fucking cockroaches on the ceiling was our decorations.
Yeah.
Fucking war stories of dead bodies and cars and shit there. And, you know, takes me back to my days with old Sears, man. He's the reason I am who I am. He, weird. He's definitely weird.
Good medic, though.
Damn good medic. And he's the only reason I made a half a fucking medic, man, because he was so... It didn't matter if you were checking somebody's blood pressure or if you was getting ready to do a damn needle crot. You better be reading the fucking rules and doing it. He didn't go by the book, but you better know how to do it by the book, and then you better know what fucking rules you could break.
Yep.
You know, he was super smart. Just, you know, my second day on my own, I ran 2 PD arrests back to back. And I called that motherfucker. I was like, I could kiss you right in the butthole right now. Wow. I was like, wow, man, I stayed fucking calm. You know, between you and Sam Stone beating this fucking knowledge in my head, man, I survived.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, 4 years on a double deuce with that motherfucker. That was some wild time. I don't know if it was as wild as you and Waller, but it was comparable.
That was an interesting point in my life. It was
good times.
It was.
But you know, it evolved into the wild Sully into, hey, me and Haley are dating, cool, I got a girlfriend named Megan. Next thing you know, hey, Megan's pregnant, hey, Haley's pregnant. And fuck, look where we're at.
I know, man. Now you're doing my podcast in the back of an ambulance, drinking a cold beer.
The first fucking crazy thing was, hey, Sully's leaving. What? Yeah, he's going to the ER to work. You're like one of the first medics to leave and go work in the ER. You know, and it was that way back when we're like, you had to be the chosen one to go in there. Now
to me, it was like even me. Like when I got that, it was like somebody had knighted me.
Yeah, I think they'd only hired like 2 of y'all.
Yeah, at the time there was only 2 other ones in there, and no, there was 3.
Now they just hired. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that they hired a piece of shit, but it's much easier.
When I left there, things had changed in there.
And the medic scope of practice has changed a lot.
That's what made me ultimately. I had went back and got my bachelor's, so my intentions were ultimately to move on anyway. But we got new management in there that kind of clipped our wings and took some of our good abilities away and
took the good old days in the ER away.
And made us more of like a glorified tech. And for the 12 years that I was there, I got to use my brain like I had never used it before, and it made me a great paramedic. And
even 2012, going through paramedic school, I learned so much in that ER. You know what? Sam had you doing like 55 rotations up there in that fucking ER anyway.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, you get to work with them old ones like Miss Barber. Remember her?
Yep.
She taught you so much. You know, Miss Judy, she's still there.
Yep.
All those little nurses like that. You know, and then you have people like Lisa Fugel, who believed in us. You know, and she would send Sam little emails back, but hey, here's your best students and take them. You know, and that I'm a firm believer, and that's what helped me graduate.
What Sam built, like in the community at that hospital with his program. I'm biased because I went to school there, but I've been blessed enough to work with and go to school with paramedics from literally all over the world.
Yeah.
And it was second to none, man. I wouldn't have, if given the choice, I wouldn't have gone anywhere else. It was hard as shit when I was in it. I hated the man while I was in there, kind of, you know, at times.
Yeah, I'd like to flip his desk and pinned him under.
But you can't deny that he puts out a hell of a product.
No, I mean, you know, I'm looking 10 plus years on the road now, and I ain't done no continuing education. I probably should do more than I do, other than what's required of me. And no, I can't go run some endocrinology call right now like I could when I got out of paramedic school. But I can get you to the hospital, you know, and it's when a shit hits the fan, I still got the ability to stay calm, take care of your ass.
If you can make it through his program, man, there ain't much you can't do.
Yeah.
Well, what's next for you, man? Anything? You got big plans on the horizon? You're a lieutenant now, right?
Yeah.
You happy there? You want to keep moving up?
I'd like to, but my next step's quit fighting fire and quit riding ambulance, so fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 37, be 38 next March. I'm still young.
So any higher than you go now, you'll be more of a office desk jockey kind of.
You, which position I'm filling tomorrow as a captain, your own SUV, or it's a truck, no, I had to just have SUV. But you kind of oversee that day-to-day EMS operations, QA all the reports.
Do the manning and shit like that.
Yeah, carry the plasma around, that kind of shit.
You ain't pulling burnt bodies out of a car.
No, you're back there saying, hey, what do you need?
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't ready for that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. July the 9th, 2027 be my 20-year mark. I'd like to tell myself I'd like to make that the end of it. I'll never be able to retire. But I'd like to do 20 and out with a clean head, good back.
That's me. This is my 20 year.
Yeah. I'd like to be able to, and I'm not saying that I will, but I'd like to walk away at 20.
And that's kind of where I'm at, man. Like, they told me, somebody asked me the other day to come, you know, put in for a flight position with Air Life. And I was like, man, I can't believe I'm going to tell you this. I can't believe the words are going to come out of my mouth. But I'm not the person for bedside care no more. I don't have the heart for it. You know what I mean?
I seen a dude hit that a while back. He had just had made lieutenant up here at Rabin. And me and you both worked with him in Hall County. But not long after he hit lieutenant, man, I come back to work up here part-time a little bit and run a few calls with him. And he's like, I ain't got the bedside you still got. And it never had clicked with me. I always thought, how the fuck these people don't got their bedside? But I know him on a personal level. We drink beer together on the days off. But then when he quit, I was like, he was done.
Yep.
He was done.
That's me, man. I could function fine in a truck or a chopper, like knowledge wise. I don't know. I don't want to loan out any more precious headspace for worse days, if that makes sense. Well, like I've had so many. And
you meet the guys that have gotten out of it. Brandon Bryant, he and I are close. We know what he did in his career. In my opinion, he's one of the best fucking lieutenants I ever knew. Some people may disagree, especially the son of a bitch that let him go. But like he said, man, 2 or 3 weeks after I was gone, fuck, I felt like a brand new man. So when I hear shit like that, I'm like, fuck, I got to figure out a way to get fucking canned. You know? It's like, you got to keep your job. You got to have money, you know? But it's like, it starts putting that intuition into your head where you're like, I got to find a way out. I want to get the fuck out before I'm messed up.
And see, like this whole thing is kind of I love this. I love the business. I love what we do. So I still want to be immersed in it and around it and talk about it. So that's what this is, man. Hopefully this allows me to do that.
It's one of the things, man. It's in your blood. It's hard to get. It's hard. It would be hard. I could walk away tomorrow and not think twice about it, but I'd also miss it. That's a hard thing to describe.
I still do. I left in 2012 is when I left the fire service, and I see ambulance going code somewhere, and it still makes my mouth water.
Where are they going?
I wonder what they're doing in the back. You know,
Yeah.
wonder if they're doing it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you got anything personally you want to plug? Any websites, businesses, initiatives, anything like that?
No, just just keep doing what you're doing. People that are still riding the truck, ride the truck. Do it. Always do your best. Never give up.
And for parents, inspire your kids to come do this.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Some of it we may have made it sound bad, but
So,
I wouldn't trade none of it for the world. Would
no,
you?
If you got a kid cut out for the job, send them.
Yeah.
If not, tell them to stay at the house.
Somebody's got to do it, man.
Yep.
And it's a great job. I know some things we talked about make it sound not so great, but it's the best time of my life, dude.
Oh,
it really
is.
was.
It is. I look forward to going to work tomorrow. How many jobs can you say where you truly get out of bed ready to go?
Yeah, when you're on your way to work and you're not regretting it. That's
Yep.
rare, man. And this was one of those kind of jobs.
You'll go to work not regretting it. There'll be a few times you come home with the fucking windows down and the radio off.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, it's worth it.
it really is.
It really is.
Well, Fields, we're about 2 hours in, dude, and we're wrapped up.
Yeah.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, brother.
Thanks for coming to talk to me, man.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. It was a blast. Thank everybody for listening, and catch us on the next one. Peace.